afternoon, good evening, wherever you are connecting with me from. Yeah, welcome back to Say Matters with Roy. Still your favorite YouTube channel where you get to learn, relearn, and unlearn from different aspects of life. And to all our followers, our viewers out there that have been connecting with us here on Facebook or on YouTube, we say a very big thank you to you all. You are the reasons why we are always having these shows twice in a month, and we really appreciate all your effort and your support. So, guys, and if you are new here, if this is your first time watching the show, joining us on the platform, this is Say Matters with Roy, and we talk about different aspects of life. So, if today is your first time joining us on the show, kindly check our previous videos on YouTube. We've talked about business, marriage life, and every other interesting thing you can think of. Just go ahead and check out our videos on the YouTube channel, Jinsei Matter with Roy. Feel free to drop your questions, your comments, your views, and every other thing you would like us to know. So, and today we have an interesting section today, a practical one. Yeah, for some weeks now we've been discussing some marriage topics like we've been into uh we've considered, we've actually had discussions on emotional intimacy, different forms of intimacy in marriage, and today we're looking at a special one for that matter. Okay, guys, let's have a short break before we continue. All right, guys, welcome back. It's still G Say Matters with Roy. Sorry for the breaking transmission. All right, welcome back to the show. Still G Say Matters with Roy. So, like I was saying just before the short break, today we are looking at, we'll be considering a very special topic before us. As you can see from the flyer, we have the discussion on sexual intimacy in marriage. So, guys, today we have our special guest with us. Join me in welcoming this wonderful and amazing couple that has always been with us right from the start. No other person but Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Thank you very much, sir and ma, for always being with us on the platform. We really appreciate your support, your time, despite your busy schedule. We really, really appreciate it. And guys, today, join me in welcoming them. Welcome, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. We're glad to have you here with us. So, for the sake of our new viewers, our new followers out there, briefly introduce yourself and tell us anything you want us to know about you, sir and ma.
Okay, thank you everyone. We are happy to be here once again. My name is Fola Bolaji. I have Bumi Bolaji with me. It's an honor to share with you on this platform. We are happy to gather together with our friend. We are based in Boston, Massachusetts, and we are happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that brief introduction. You see humility. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm so excited already about the discussion we have today. And I know not just me, I know a lot of our viewers out there as well as also excited for the discussion, the conversation today. And really, guys, if you have any contribution, if you have any question or comment or anything you want us to know about, just feel free to call in through the link in the comment section. And if today is your first time joining us on the show, don't hesitate to say hello to us in the comment section. Let me know, oh, you were there. All right, so without wasting much of our time, let's just dive in straight into the discussion. So, like I said earlier, today we have before us sexual intimacy in marriage, also known as the marriage act. So, for the sake of our discussion today, we'll be referring to it as the marriage act. So, I discovered these days that lots of people complain one thing about one thing or the other why they're not really enjoying this thing, and for some it's been as a result of underlying issues, unresolved conflicts. But most times we are always keeping things to ourselves, but you end up discovering, but why is he acting that way, why is she reacting that way? And in the long run, the summary of everything is yeah, is it like as if is not getting satisfied or she's not getting what she wants? So today we'll be looking at the reasons why couples, because not just people, couples don't really get that intimacy, the sexual intimacy that they really long for, that they desire in their marriages. So I will be from my own end, like I said a few minutes ago, for some people it is as a result of unresolved conflicts, for some stress. But let's hear from our special guest today. Let's hear from them. Share your experience with us. What do you think are the causes of lack of intimacy regarding the marriage acts?
Okay. Thank you so much, our host. Thank you for this opportunity. When I saw the topic, I was like, oh, this is a huge topic. I wish, are you sure that we're even for it? We are just still brothers and sisters. And again, it's actually a very good thing to talk about, and it's very important. From previous research and discussions and experiences, it has been mentioned often and often that there are two major things that cause problems in the home. Number one is money. When money, then the marriage begins to suffer, and there are many other problems that begins to come in. Then number two in marriage is sex. When the marriage hurts,
Yeah, because I wanted to say, I think she doesn't want us to keep marriage.
any name we give to it, we all understand what we're talking about. So marriage is the root of many other fractures in marriage, and it's very important even for the believers to talk about it, not just to talk about it once, but to keep talking about it before we allow the world to squeeze us into its mold. There are many things that are happening about the marriage act, what is supposed to be from marriage act, but has been taken outside marriage and is using it to and is being used by the world to form our lives, which is very strange and which is not supposed to be the pattern of Christian. So it's very important that we get it right. And if we are to get it right, we need to communicate often about it. We need to do it among ourselves, not just between husband and wife, but between believers. What are the concepts that are already getting into us? What are the things that are sneaking in and we are also following the leads? All of those things are very important. But let's bring it back home, talking about children of God in marriage. What is our responsibility? Are the things that God expects us to do in terms of marriage? And what is it that we need to do to make our spouses to be fulfilled, to be happy, to be satisfied, and to enjoy peace in the home? This topic is broad, and like I said, we are just 12 years old in marriage, and we may not have the whole syllabus about marriage act, but we can only share the little understanding that we have and the wisdom that God could have given us over the years about this act. And I need to mention that we are still growing and we are also still learning. So for any viewer that want to make any comments or to ask any questions, that is fine because we are all growing and it's better if we grow together. So we'll be sharing from the little that we know, and we hope that it's going to sit well with everyone eventually. So I will yield to my wife to start with some things.
Okay. I want to first of all make a comment about calling it marriage act. I think that emphasizes the fact that in this conversation it's about marriage because that is what the Bible approves. It is the hex word is a mark. It is not for people in courtship. It is not for people who are in relationship because now it has become like churches don't even emphasize it again as if now everybody does it, so there's no big deal about it. But there's still a big deal about it. That is because when we get married, our previous experience will probably rub on our marriage life if we have been exposed to it way longer when it is not the right time for us to do. So it is the marriage act, and we should always have it at the back of our mind that it's a marriage act. Now, when you were talking, there was something that I picked up about couples not getting satisfied in their marriage, like is not probably the wife is not satisfied or the husband is not satisfied, which may be due to different things. It can be due to frequency, it can be that the act itself is not satisfactory to one person, or some other reasons like that in the marriage. And I believe that that has a lot of factors that should come into it. But in marriage, we should work together as a team, and it should be about communication. And something I quickly wrote down here is satisfaction versus denial, because I think it was some times ago that my husband was having a conversation with me, and there was a discussion about Christian women denying their husbands of the marriage act because they believe that they cannot go out. I don't know whether you understand. I know my husband is a Christian and he's not going to go into adultery. Then I can just be like, no, nothing like that. And stuff like women doing that. And I don't think it is new, but it is disappointing that Christian women will do the same because it is a childish behavior, like reading in literature. So like he said, it is not a conversation you have every day, like everything, but reading in literature, listening to people talking about it, you hear that some women will be like, you did not buy that clothes for me, so you cannot touch me. Now that is expressly a childish behavior. And because in our culture the marriage act is tilted more towards the husband asking for it than the woman asking for it. Um, the women denial part has become more popular or has more use than the man denying their wives. But I've also had like a personal experience. I don't mean me, but someone very close to me whose husband deny her of the marriage sex because you told my like you don't have interest in what I have interest in. So I will make sure you don't get it. And
Yeah,
I
that's
know
a
you cannot
disagreement.
because there's a disagreement. And the husband is weaponizing the marriage act. So it happens on both sides, but it is an extremely childish behavior and it should be discouraged because the Bible says that the man does not have authority over his body. The woman does not have. Like when you come together, your husband's body belongs to the wife, the wife's body belongs to the husband. So denying one's spouse of the marriage because of a disagreement or because of you did not do this for me, I told you I want this, you did not, so you cannot. That is a very childish act, and it should be discouraged. And if there are women who still do it, or men who do it, communication is important. Like, talk about the problem rather than weaponize the marriage act. Weaponize marriage act against one another is wrong. And of course, it shows absence of intimacy. Like we were discussing before we even started this session, is intimacy is an holistic thing. It is not just about you are emotionally intimate, but you are not like it works on one another. So it's an holistic thing. It shows there is lack of intimacy by the time weaponizing the marriage act. So there should be conversation around that. But I will also I think I'm talking for too long, but I don't know
Okay.
whether I should stop.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's fine. Okay. So another thing I want to say is I heard someone say something and I paused and thought about it. That in marriage there will be beautiful marriage acts, there will be dutiful marriage acts. Now dutiful marriage act is when everybody around you know that I'm not ready for this thing, like but because the other partner wants it, you yield. That is dutiful. It doesn't mean you want it for anything. But the beautiful one is the good one. That is the one we should shoot for, where we are both same page. Like we have communicated, we have played, we have like a common desire for it at that time. That is what should be the normal in marriage. But there will be times that it will be dutiful. For example, for a woman who needs to give birth, or for couples waiting on having children, there will be lots of dutiful marriage acts because they are looking at the date. It's not about the fact that I feel like or I don't feel like. It's not I'm tired or I'm not tired, but you're just doing it because oh they said we should have it between 17 and 21. Who knows? If we decide we don't do it this night, maybe this is the night we are going to get the baby. So dutiful, like I just want to clarify that there will be times that you have it. It's just a matter of, well, I'm not going to be satisfied today, man, go ahead. Or, man, I'm not going to be satisfied today, woman, go ahead. That is a dutiful marriage act. It will happen. It is not strange. It does not show that there's no intimacy. It just shows that there is a common goal that you're working towards. Probably it is just to satisfy my husband so that he doesn't appear as if every day you are just tired. Like, okay, I'm tired today, but I'll go ahead just for him to know that it's all like my body belongs to him. So that is something else that I want to mention. And I want to say that for Christian couple, we like Brofola said, we need to continue to communicate and communicate and communicate about this. This is because this is the major aspect of marriage that you cannot talk about compatibility because you cannot test the compatibility before marriage. You cannot test
That's
whether you will like it open or you will not. It is something you cannot explore before marriage. So you're
As a
going to,
Christian,
as
yeah.
a Christian, so you so you go into marriage, and as it unfolds, you continue to communicate about it. I'm going to give two personal. Now there was a time that so for me, for both of us, we had the marriage act for the first time after we got married. So I didn't have a previous experience. He didn't have a previous experience. So it was like for me, it was like, so this is what, because I have read novels, I have seen movies, I have seen people talk about it. I have people around me who have had the experience over and over again, even when we were still young people who talk about it and stuff like that. So I always envisioned something that, oh, I think you see the stars. Like when you are in the marriage act, like you're in the third heaven, you see revelations and everything is happening. That was what I was thinking of. But um the first time we were going to experience it, I was like, this is painful. Like this is not this is not the task sparkling. So he was like that for me coming into it, and I'm like, I took a step that I don't know whether I should talk about it yet, but okay, let me stop here. Maybe okay.
wow. Thank you very much, Ma. Yeah, what I got from that was the aspect of was the point of communication. Communication, communication, communication. So I would like to hear from Brofola.
Okay. Thank you so much. I know that she has said a lot. I don't even know where to start from or something. But is actually, like she said, is very, very important that the marriage act should not be weaponized. Used like a weapon where a lady will say, I want this. And if you are not giving to me, I'm going to deny you. Or your husband will say, I will just refrain from her for several times, for a long time. Because men tends to believe that maybe because of the culture or because of the background or because of the society that we find ourselves in, men tend to believe that they could have their ways. Like they can go extramarital in terms of marriage acts. And sometimes if a man gets into that kind of thing, the society will frown at it, let's say like 30%. But if he gets into it, the society will frown at it at the level of 95%. So men has that kind of mentality that, well, if I'm not getting it at home, then I will find a way for myself. But it's not that easy for a woman. Though the society is getting messed up and many things are happening. But the reality is, it's not that easy for a woman to go outside for extramarital affair as much as it appears easy for the man. But the reality or the main thing we are talking about it is number one, don't even think that you have an alternative. As a Christian, let not your heart think that I have alternatives. Don't begin to think, oh, I have somebody at I have somebody around my neighbor. I have some. No, that is going to ruin your life and it's going to ruin your marriage. But like I've said over and over again, every time we need mentoring, we need guidance, we need elderly tutelage, people that can guide us in our marriage. When we were young in marriage, one of those people I heard talking to us was saying, we are still young in marriage, sorry. When we were younger, let me put it that way. So we have somebody telling us that sometimes if a woman satisfy or if a husband satisfy his wife or a woman satisfy her husband very well at home, the husband may not even have interest in some other people outside the home. So more like saying if you have fed your husband with very delicious meal at home, how will your husband have space for foods that are not delicious outside? But the reality is there are manipulations, which I don't want us to overlook. There are people that are always targeting you, studying you, looking for a way to get into you, whether you have a good marriage or not, because that's the plan of the devil. The devil does not want the family to hold together. So they will always be targeting maybe times that maybe there is a misunderstanding between you and your wife, or you are just complaining about something, and devil will just package somebody that seems to understand, that seems to care much more than your spouse and things like that. But let it be settled on your heart that no matter how, this is a boundary that I'm not going to cross. Anything that has to do with sexual intimacy outside of my marriage, no way. Now, getting back inside, my wife talked about dutiful and the good one.
Beautiful.
Both the dutiful and the good one are good to me.
Yeah, dutiful and beautiful, not
Beauty,
good.
okay.
Both of them are
Beautiful,
good.
okay. Beauty
Dutiful and
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 beautiful.
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 Thank you. So, whether beautiful or dutiful, as long as it is within both of you, then it's something that should be encouraged, something that should be empowered, both on the side of the man and on the woman. Let it be that there is no reason for denial. Let that there is no reason for denial. And marriage act has different levels. There are marriage acts that you can perform that will be short, that will be long, that will not take time, that will take time. There are different scales. And those are the things that husband and wife need to educate themselves about. If I'm showing this sign, it means I'm not actually in the mood. But for duty's sake, we can go into it because we have different mood swings, we have different mood level, and we have different time that we react to things. So at any time, there should not be denial. The denial that the Bible means is that when you are having a kind of separation unto the Lord and you have some personal time that you felt I want to be focused and you need some strength and things like that. But beyond that, denials are not encouraged and it's very, very important. So another thing is in marriage, the question should be asked. There should be a kind of relation between husband and wife. If it's not possible to do evaluation once a year, I guess it should be possible because we are talking about family that we want this family to exist for many years to come. It has become a problem that husband and wife don't sit down to evaluate their growth. Don't do it like quarterly, like 4 times a year. Then make sure that your marriage anniversary is going to be for evaluation. How are we doing about this? How are we doing about that? Check all those, have a checklist of what you want to discuss. If you need to take absence from work, like leave or vacation, take it. Even if you cannot travel, maybe it's falling during the week when the children has to go to school, you can take leave from office and while the children are in school, then both of you have the time to sit together and talk, discuss it, evaluate yourself. Many of us Christians have failed when it comes to evaluation. And I'm talking to you what we are also working on to create time for ourselves to evaluate. We started so years. How far have we gone? Are we making progress? Are we improving? We want to improve financially. We want to improve health-wisely. But when it comes to things that matter like marital relationship, we don't create to evaluate and talk about some of these things that matter to us. We need to sit down and begin to do this as Christians. So that's the point I want to add to what she has said.
Wow, a lot to grab from from the discussion so far. Wow, thank you very much, sir and Ma, for these wonderful contributions. We have Valeros saying hello to us. Good evening, watching here from Nagoya, Japan. Thank you very much, Valeros, for joining us. And also we have Amarachuku Ugu. Let me relax and enjoy this live. Yes, let's enjoy it together. Yeah, if you have your questions, contributions, don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. So let's continue the conversation. Thank you very much, sir and Ma. Like Sister Bumi said, that it can be beautiful, it can be dutiful. So the question now is for times when maybe either of the partners, maybe it's time for the dutiful sessions, the time for the dutiful sessions, and possibly there are other reasons, possibly like health issues, or maybe stress on the part of the woman that is always making her feel, oh, today, like Sister Bumi said, and like Brofola also said, that let there be no reason for denial. And, you know, women are always, either they are busy taking care of the kids, thinking about how the house will be clean, thinking about their job and so many other things. And even on the part of the man might also be worried about the finances of the home, and he is not just on the mood. The woman is also not just on the mood sometimes. And like Brofola said, let there be no reason for denial. In such situations, that the dutiful sessions are beginning to be more than the beautiful sessions, but both couple cannot help, they cannot help themselves. What can be done such that, in a way that uh the marital acts won't be drifting or suffering?
Okay.
Okay. So I want to continue from where you stopped, and I love the emphasis on let there be no denial. Now, because um I don't want to say there will not. Well, I've heard a woman, that's the first person I've said that in our 15 years of marriage, I never denied my husband. Now,
Wow.
that may be relative. This is what I'm trying to say. Maybe the husband don't ask for it every day. Maybe the husband works, like if my husband works in Lagos, Nigeria, and I live in Oyo, Nigeria, and he comes home on Fridays and leaves on Sunday. The
Okay.
experience for that woman is different from someone who is every day in the house with her husband. So if I am saying, I have never denied my husband, and my husband is only home 2 days a week, is different from somebody whose husband is at
Completely
home.
different.
So, um, well, denial is not good. Like, so that was the reason why the thing I wrote down here is satisfaction and denial. Those are two different things in the marriage. When one person is not satisfied or both of them are not satisfied, is different from when you are just denying your partner because you are weaponizing it. It shouldn't be like you shouldn't weaponize it. But I think the crux of it comes back to what we started with in a way, which is communicating about it. And like Brofola added to it, um, evaluating the marriage act life. Because if there is evaluation, it is possible for one party to be selfish about it. And there is something that is common. I think it happens more with men because of the cultural background or historically how men are seen to be. Like even the Bible says satisfy your husband, as if it is the husband that really has a sexual need. So usually it's common that the man is like the focal point because women are much more quiet about asking for it. I think the education is just becoming more now that a woman should be able to ask for um, the marriage act from their husband, but it's not a practice that we grew up like making it a normal way of life. It's a stylish asking, whereas the man can boldly ask for it like a right. Now, in this case of conversing about it, in communication, it becomes easier for both parties to understand what is going on. In if one person, like you said, if dutiful says if dutiful married her becomes more popular, where it is becoming more like an abuse than an act of love, then there is need to talk about it. Now you gave an example of stress. Can if there is a conversation around that I'm just tired, like if every day you are tired, then let's look at it. How can we reduce the tiredness?
Tiredness.
Yes,
Yeah.
what can we do to reduce the burden that is on you? Because really, if the man is very tired, like he's just tired, he's gone, he's asleep. For some people, they feel abused. Like, oh, after we have the marriage, that just passes off like
As if you don't
as if
exist.
I don't exist, as if I've done that now. All of those things calls for communication because if there's no communication about it, the other partner might not even know that it is happening. Now, I am not saying the communication will always be easy because it can be like I don't even feel I don't even feel any excitement when you have the marriage act with me. Now, psychologically, they will say when you communicate that to a man, it can dampen their spirit. Some men, just through talk of mouth like that, could not just get aroused. Like they just find it difficult to get at their spouse just because the woman has said so many things that just made them feel worthless about themselves. So all of it, like you communicate, but you communicate with wisdom. If there is need to get help from older couples or mentors, there might be need to say it. Like I think advancement in science made it known that over time the woman become reduced. So a woman is in the marriage act, but it is with pain. Like the other party, the man is enjoying himself, but the woman is in pain because there is no lubrication. So there are several things that changes over time. Like the marriage act experience different from a woman who gave birth in the 10th month of their marriage, um, who had a natural birth, who had maybe cuts, or what do they call it, and
Laceration.
lacerate and stuff like that after marriage. Like resuming the marriage act will be different from somebody who did not experience that. And human body is different from one another, and several other things like that. And the experience, of course, which is discouraged, of a lady who ventured into the marriage act at age 13,
Mm,
probably got born again at 25, and in has been with only God knows how many men.
mm,
The training that that woman the training that she has received over those several years cannot be compared to somebody who got married at 30 and is getting into the marriage act for the first time. Because look at it from this example. If a man is able to control himself for 30 full years, or let's say 20 years from when they become mature, get
mm,
into puberty, he has seen, he has done this, he has been able to control himself. The experience will be different from somebody who does not undergo that kind of self control, who has probably had experience with like some men. I had people that I related with of talking, meet a lady in the morning, another lady in the afternoon, another lady at night. And that person has consistently lived that kind of rough life for a while. And now they get into marriage. That person experience is different from somebody who,
sure.
yeah. So communication is very important and talking about it. And if there is anything you feel hurtful to your spouse, you expose them to it, because in it, they will also learn. But that does not excuse bringing pornography into your marriage, because that can lead to
Another
like
extreme.
another extreme.
Most
And like
definitely.
Mike said, what our eyes see, what our mind ruminate about, can be an avenue for the devil to strike us bigly in our marriage as well. So it is not something we joke with, because my spouse is not available, so I can get myself satisfied somehow. We can know how it began, but it might become an issue.
Yeah, let me quickly add to that. And let me start from the last point she mentioned. Sometimes we try to weaponize or to, or don't let me use weaponize. Sometimes we try to get ourselves educated using wrong resources. The Bible says the devil is the father of lies. He's a liar from the beginning. And there are so many things that we say on screen that are not real. They are deceits. When you watch pornography and see a man and a woman having sex for 1 hour straight, and you will want to demonstrate that kind of thing.
Some of them drugs,
Some
like
of them are
most
used
of
drugs, some of them are induced, some of them they
are
have edited the
possessed.
video, and some of them are even possessed, like she said, because there are different things that are happening. It's only when people opens up to you, that's when you know that people are really experiencing things that are strange, very, very strange, that a normal human being will not be able to survive under such strange circumstances. So don't use wrong resources. They are going to ruin your mentality. They are going to ruin your mindset. And at the end of the day, you'll be having tension in the home. You'll be expecting your spouse to be doing things that are not natural,
Mm,
things that are not convenient. That's how the Bible puts it.
Yeah.
And it is the devil that give us to such reprobate mind. The devil will give people reprobate mind that they be doing things that are not convenient.
convenient.
And be careful about that. Like she has said, people have different backgrounds, and different backgrounds bring different baggages. And the baggages that they are coming with into the marriage has to be discussed. There has to be communication. What have you been into? How do we address this? You need to learn and relearn. When you are in the world, it's different from now that you are with a man in a Christian marriage. You need to sit down. Nobody has control over the past. I cannot change my past. You cannot change your past. The fact that I've been subjected to some abuse while I was growing up, that doesn't mean that I will now bring those baggages into the marriage and allow it to ruin my marriage, ruin in quote. Because some of silently they are whispering into us. And then if you are not careful to tame them, they begin to influence your behavior in marriage. So communication is very, very important. We are here together now. We have been into some things. I've been into some things. How do we want to learn? How do we want to live? I want to add also that this thing also requires prayers. There is nothing that God cannot do. Some people, like you said, could be having pain because of stress, because of age, because of health, because of different reasons. But God answers prayers. There are things God can do for you that will resolve permanent damage. Damage that people believe that is permanent. Damage that even you yourself, you cannot even open up your mouth to say that this is it. But then, through prayers, through communication, through understanding, many things can be changed. And then, lastly, I want to add this, even for men and even for women, but let me quickly address it to the men. It's very important to have self control and after marriage. If you cannot have self control in marriage, then there will be problem. One thing I believe is there could be denial. I said the other time that there should not be any denial or something. There could be genuine denial. But when there is no health issue, stress issue, and things like that, should be no denial. It should not be like I'm trying to punish him, trying to show him importance. I'm trying to show her that she will suffer. No, that should not be. So now what I'm saying is, okay, let's say my wife or my spouse had been giving me marriage heart that is dutiful, not beautiful. If that to come up every day or every week, then something is
There's a
wrong.
problem.
And we need to sit down and talk about it. We need to sit down and talk about it. If it is the husband that is doing the same, there needs to be a talk. But when I know that my wife is stressed up, then there is something that comes. She's not like this. She's not, this is not normal. I need to control myself and let her have a rest. I should not be selfish about my desire in marriage. Because there have been situations that, okay, husband will have some work related assignments and he will be away for months. If you don't have self control, what will happen to you in those 3 months? This thing is a privilege. Some people are impotent, they cannot do it. God gave you the potency opportunity. You should still appreciate God for it and be able to control yourself. It's very important. So denial of 1 night, 3 nights because of stress, because of situation should not make you go crazy and be thinking wild. So as children of God, there is a place of self-control. Self-control is very, very important. Is what can be prayed for, is what can be worked at, and that is going to be very helpful. And as children of God, you always, like I said, evaluate ourselves. Am I making my spouse happy in this regard? Am I giving him all the best, like I promised when we were sharing the vow that all my body I will use to satisfy him? All my body I will use to satisfy her. That is a godly vow in the presence of brethren in an assembly. Now you get into the room. Are you fulfilling that vow? Are you making your spouse happy? Is it getting fulfilled? Is she getting fulfilled? That promise that you made, are you not breaking that marriage vow? It's not until you go out and you begin to misbehave outside or have extramarital affair that you are breaking marriage vow. When you are not truthful, when you are not obedient, when you are not doing what you should do, what you have said in the presence of many people, when you are failing at it, you are breaking the marriage vow. For us as Christians, if there is something that is a problem for you sexually or in terms of marriage act, you need to face it and conquer it. If you don't conquer it, the devil has already won over your marriage. There needs to be review, consistent and continuous review. How are we doing? Are we fine? Are we making progress? Making progress does not mean you are learning from the world. Making progress, like she said the other time, listening to messages, reading books, educating yourself, and communicating and evaluating yourself. Godly books. There are godly books on marriage acts. Read them, empower yourself, listen to people, listen to adults, attend marriage seminars together, attend marriage conferences together, and evaluate. It's very important. We need to be dynamic about this. But don't go and get resources from the worldly people. They will mess up everything.
Mm. Wow, wow, wow. What? There are lots of lessons from that. Thank you so much, sir and ma. So while Sister Bumi and Brofala was giving that contribution, something to my mind, and it was, there are sometimes like I've had some people share that sometimes the wife or the husband, I think it still boils down to communication issues. Like the wife feels the husband is not speaking our love language, and then the husband also feels the wife is not speaking his own love language, and the both of them just feel, so what's the essence? We are not enjoying this thing, but these are things that are going on in their minds. Nobody is talking about it, but you just feel okay, like dutiful. I'm not, nothing is putting me to be in this mood for the marriage act. So I think it's still about communication, like Brofala and Sister Bumi said. And in situations like that, how can couples in this situation, well, how can they be helped? They both feel
So
they are not, nothing is putting them in the mood to actually enjoy the marital acts. I think
yeah,
within 5 minutes
yeah.
before we bring the
We have
session
to
to a
get very short.
close.
So let me quickly add that number one, there is a place of patience. Communication is good. Sometimes we communicate things and things are not, but Yoruba one one Yoruba proverb says "Fa la rafa aditi," that when you want somebody that is deaf to hear something, you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, and maybe with different illustrations and things like that. So there may not be automatic change even after communication, and that requires patience and prayer. That's one. Then the second point I want to add is there is a place of seeking help. Seeking help is very important. God did not create us to be in isolation. Things that you thought is a problem in your marriage, some people have experienced it, they have overcome it,
Mm,
and they are teaching other people. So don't be shy to open up to godly people. Don't be shy. It's important because you are helping yourselves.
yeah.
You are not helping them. You are helping yourself. So if you are experiencing issues like this, there are some people that can even go into a program with you that will get trained and check with you how far is there any improvement. I'll be committed to you until you surpass that
Mm,
stage, until you overcome those challenges. Don't suffer in silence. Marriage should be blissful. It's not something you should live enduring. No, you should enjoy blissful marriage as a child of God or as children of God. Let me
Yes, I want to add to you that I think a very common thing, and one of the reasons why sex education is being emphasized for people to give their children is the source of information or the source of your idea of what sex should be can have an effect on your marriage. Like for somebody who have been seeing, you know that oh, when uncle is having sex, like you'll be hearing the girl screaming almost from the next street, or the whole house is shaking and things like that. And you don't know that and you have that expectation of that is when you have really enjoyed yourself. Now, that wrong orientation can affect somebody's experience, because that is, and that brings me to what we were saying and what he emphasized. What is your source? What resources are you consulting? That is very important because it can tweak one's mindset. It can affect one's mindset of what the marriage act is about. The second thing I want to say to that is prayers, and like he said, patience. Like I could test praying to God about having orgasm, which I've read about, and God gave it to me. Now it took a while in my marriage to experience that, but when I did, I knew, oh, this is what they actually call orgasm. And since then, it's been a breakthrough. I didn't need to go and be like wrong resources. It can actually mess up with one's mind because when you pray about things, and I remember watching I think it's a Mount Zion movie, and this couple were having intimate a sexual intimacy issue in their marriage. And what was happening? The husband said anytime the man moves close, she's just pissed off. Like it's just like the man looks like a monkey. Like
Yeah.
just the woman, the husband looks like a monkey to the woman. It's just like when something is not attractive to you at all. And what they didn't know was that there was an attack from outside on their marriage. That the woman will just always be like, just be displeased with the man, like when you are smelling, or just complete. So she needed to break that attack with prayers. So there could be situations like that too. And like he said, evaluation. Did the marriage start like that? What suddenly happened? Did we have a new person in our house? Or it can be like an housemaid, and the housemaid came in, and you just realize that you just don't feel good about yourself again. There might be need for spiritual sensitivity as well. What changed? Did your husband change a new job? Did things like that? So prayer is very, very important. I don't look at such like at such things like it's just natural, because sometimes it's an attack from the devil to get the husband or the wife, because it is when the husband is pissed off and not caring that there's one young boy paying attention to the woman outside. So prayer is very important too.
Wow. This It has been an interesting session today. Thank you very much, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji, for your time again. Thank you so much. And to all our viewers out there, if there is anyone, a couple, or yeah, of course, a couple that you know needs to watch this and be blessed as well, don't hesitate to share this video with them. Let them watch and be blessed. Let them be impacted as well. So, all our viewers and to everyone that has made today's conversation, today's session a success, we say a very big thank you to you all. Thanks for joining. Thank you so much, Ify. She's saying hello to us in the comment section. And if there is anyone that has a question for our guest, don't hesitate to drop your question in the comment section. It will be forwarded to them, and then in the next session we're going to be having an answer to your questions. So on this note, we're going to be bringing the conversation today to a close. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Thank you very much. Till Okay, thank you so much. I don't know. Okay, we can get the name of this person. Says thanks for this program. Oh, we thank the Lord. So, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for your
Everyone.
support and for joining us on the platform. Thank you very much, Doctor and Doctor Mrs. Bolaji. Till we come your way again into Jinsei Matters with Roy. Bye for now.
Bye.